Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Jag here, and in today's class we are going to do our Math 9 content. And what I wanted to do today was basically just a review of polynomials. What we're going to do is do some adding and subtracting polynomials. We're going to do a couple of questions with the distributive property, as well as maybe a couple of application questions. So make sure as you're going through and you're doing the questions in the textbook, you are looking at these application questions as well. Okay, it's always going to be a component of quizzes and tests as well. Okay, so with that, let's get started. Okay, again, I'm going to actually pick questions from the textbook within the review section. Okay, so let's start off with this one. So we're going to do 4x plus 3 here, plus 3x minus 2. Okay, so here we're just adding the polynomials together. Make sure you're putting the like terms together here. Okay, so again, I'm going to just underline this. So 4x, okay, plus 3x. Again, make sure you're taking the sign that is in front of the number. I'm going to do plus 3. And right here, if you look at this last term, it's actually minus 2. Okay? And equals, and one more time again, if you're not sure about the signs, I would just make sure I'm using my calculator. Okay, there shouldn't be any restrictions on using your calculator for quizzes or tests. Okay, so I'm going to do 4x plus 3x, so 7x. Okay, and the second part is 3 minus 2, which is positive 1. Alright, and this is my final answer. Okay, the question just says to simplify. Okay, so simplify just means I am putting the like terms together. Okay, my last answer at the very end, 7x plus 1, should not have any like terms. And again, if it does, you can always just keep simplifying it until there are no like terms at the very end. Okay, with that, let's try the next example here. Okay. Alright, so let's try this one. It actually has some negative signs here. So we're going to do 5k minus 2. Okay, plus 3k minus 5. Okay, so don't worry about the actual like signs and stuff. We're going to use the same method. Always just make sure you're checking as to whether you're adding or subtracting the polynomials. Okay, so in this case, I'm adding the polynomials. So we're going to go ahead and put the like terms together. Okay, so I have 5k plus 3k. Okay, so just like this. All right, so you're adding them together. This is negative 2, okay, and negative 5. And you notice when I'm actually underlining the numbers, I'm underlining the signs that are in front, okay, so we don't get confused. All right, so I'm going to add it together. 5k plus 3k, 8k. Okay, and again, when you have negatives, make sure you're very careful here. This is negative 2 minus 5. Because the signs are the same, I'm going to add the numbers together. So it's going to be 2 plus 5, so 7. And again, because the 5 is the bigger number here and the 5 is negative, my sign is going to be negative. Does everyone see that? Okay, so my final answer is 8k minus 7. Alright, and I noticed that there are no like terms here, so this is my final answer. Are there any questions? Okay, good. So let's move on to the next question. This time we're going to try and subtract the polynomials. So I'm going to take this off. So again, these questions are straight from the review section in the textbook. Okay, whenever you have a unit test coming up, make sure you're doing all the review questions. Don't skip any of them. Okay. So let's try this one. So this is 6u plus 1. This time it's going to be minus, okay, 2u plus 5. Okay, so again, remember when you're actually subtracting the polynomials, I have to do one extra step here, okay? So we're going to keep the first brackets the same. So I'm going to put 6u plus 1. I'm going to change this minus sign to plus, okay? And you're going to change the sign for everything within the second brackets. Okay, so everyone look very closely. This is positive 2u minus 2u. Okay, then I have positive 5 and it becomes minus 5. So it's not that I'm actually changing the expression. Okay, it's basically the same expression that I have at the top here. but I'm just changing it into the addition form. So now it's kind of like I'm just adding the polynomials together, okay? And I can just put the like terms together here. So let's underline it. So I have 6u, okay? So let's not underline this. I'll just put minus 2u because that's the sign that is in front, okay? And again, don't put two signs or the teacher will take off a mark for that, okay? I have plus 1 minus 5, all right? And I have to make sure I do this step in between, okay? When you're subtracting the polynomials, I have to actually change it to the addition statement. And some of the questions in the textbook will tell you to directly do that, okay? It will just say change to an addition statement and then simplify, okay? So we're going to just add and subtract the like terms here. So 6u minus 2u, so 4u, okay? And I'm doing 1 minus 5, okay, which is negative 4. All right, and this is my final answer here, okay? At the grade 9 level, you're just going to do simplifying and expanding the answer. Okay, are there any questions so far? Okay, so with that, let's try an example that is a little bit longer, okay? And this time it's going to be a trinomial, so one more time. A trinomial means I have 3 terms within the brackets, okay? So we're going to try this one. So 2a squared, okay, minus 4a minus 2. Okay, and we're going to still subtract, okay, the 2 polynomials here. So a squared minus 4a, okay, plus 2. Okay, so say it's something like this. So I can see like the 2 polynomials are very similar here. And again, we're going to use the same method that we have been doing right now. So let's keep the first bracket the same. So 2a squared minus 4a minus 2. I'm going to change that negative sign, okay, to a plus, and then change all the signs within the second brackets, okay? So instead of positive a squared minus a squared, okay, you see how it's minus 4a? It's going to be plus 4a. Okay, and in the second bracket, the last term is positive 2, and I'm going to change that to minus 2. All right, everyone is with me so far? Okay, so all we did is keep the first brackets the same, and I just changed all the signs within the second brackets. Okay, you're changing the negative sign in between the 2 brackets to positive, and now I'm just adding these 2 polynomials together. And I can see it's very easy to put the like terms together here. Okay, so let's do that. So this is 2a squared, okay? And this is minus a squared. And I always make sure I do the step, okay, where I'm putting the like terms together. If you are really good with polynomials, okay, you can actually skip this step and you can just write your final answer. Okay, but for now, we're going to put the like terms together here. So I'm going to do the next term, so minus 4a plus 4a, okay? And the last 2 like terms here are just the numbers because they don't have any variables. So it's going to be minus 2, and on the other side, it's also minus 2, okay? So again, make sure you're not putting 2 signs here. The teacher will take off maybe half a mark for something like that, okay? So now we're just going to add and subtract these like terms. So 2a squared minus a squared is 1a squared. Again, I don't need to put the 1 in front of the a squared. It's already assumed that it's there. Okay, in the second term, I see it's negative 4a plus 4a. Okay, it's actually just like 4 minus 4, which is 0, so it's gone. Okay, and the last term is negative 2 minus 2, so negative 4. Okay, does everyone see that? So this is actually my final answer, okay? It's going to be a squared minus 4. All right, make sure you are doing all the steps here until you get really good, okay, at doing the polynomials. And you will reach that point as long as you're doing a lot of different practice questions. All right, so with that, what we're going to do now is one of these application questions. Okay, so let me just take this off. And again, the application questions are really important, okay? I have to make sure I keep trying application questions. Some questions are communication, which means I should be able to actually explain my answer and how I got my answer. So just kind of like listing the steps in words, okay? And that's what the teacher wants to see. if you're able to actually explain how you got the answer to one of your friends and they understand what you're saying, that's actually how you know that you have the concepts down. Okay, so let's try this question here. Okay, so they give you a triangle. It says find a simplified expression for the perimeter of the triangle. Okay, so one side is 4n minus 16. This is 5n minus 8. Okay, and the last side is 4n plus 3. Okay, and we are just looking for the perimeter here. Okay, so I'm going to write it on this side here. And what you're doing is just adding all the sides of the triangle together. So I'm going to put it in brackets. Okay, so 4n minus 16 plus 5n minus 8. Okay, and plus 4n plus 3. Alright, so basically that's all we're doing. We're just adding all of these values together here. Okay, and what we will do is put the like terms together, still show that step. Okay, so I'm going to put the like terms together here. So 4n plus 5n, okay, plus 4n. And you notice again, I'm not subtracting the polynomials, so I can skip that step in between. I don't need to change any of the signs. I'm just putting the like terms together. Okay, and I'm going to do negative 16 minus 8, and this is plus 3. Okay, so again, just like look in front of the numbers, a lot of students are asking, how do you know when you're adding or subtracting the polynomials? Okay, so again, it's the sign that is in front of the number. Okay, so with that, you could just add and subtract all these numbers. So this is 13n. Again, negative 16 minus 8, which is negative 24. And then I'm adding 3 to that. Okay, so negative 21. Okay, and this is the actual expression for the perimeter. Okay, and then, so this is part A here. Okay, and part B says determine the perimeter when n is equal to 5. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just write out my expression one more time. Okay, and there will always be a part B to these application questions. The teacher wants to test your knowledge and make sure you're understanding the concepts of polynomials. So find the perimeter when n is equal to 5. I'm going to just plug 5 into my equation here. Okay, and it's just going to be 13 times 5, so 65 minus 21. Okay, yeah, so it's equal to 44 centimeters. Okay, and make sure basically here it doesn't actually give you any units. It just says determine the perimeter when n equals 5. So instead of centimeters, I think I'll just put units. Okay, if the teacher does say it's in centimeters, okay, they're looking for centimeters within the perimeter at the very end. Because it is an application question, please make sure you are including a concluding sentence at the end. Again, some teachers are very picky. We don't want marks taken off for something small like that, okay? Especially when you have the right answer, okay? So this is what the application questions will look like for the polynomials, okay? Or maybe the teacher will just give you like a rectangle or like a square, find the perimeter or an expression for the perimeter of the rectangle. It could be find an expression for the area of a rectangle. And all of the questions are actually very similar, okay? And you're going to follow the exact same steps, okay, that we did here on the board. All right? So if there are no questions, that brings this video to an end. Thank you for watching. And one more time, please make sure you are clicking on the like button below and you're subscribing to the channel. And make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing. And share it with your friends as well, okay? So everyone can do really good when they're taking Math 9. So thank you for watching one more time, and I will see everyone in the next video. Thanks, bye.